Happy Thursday, everybody, and welcome to this week's Five Masterclass. We're going to be talking about leveraging AI, and this gentleman does not need an introduction, I'm sure, but he is the world-renowned marketing coach and guru, Jason Pantana. Jason, take it away.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's good to see everybody today. We have about 25, 27 minutes to go deep on AI. So I want to brace you for what to expect today. I'm going to fly through several use cases of AI, but just for kicks and giggles so I know where you're at, just raise your hands physically. Don't hit the raise hand button on Zoom. How many of you are using ChatGPT on a regular basis? How many of you have never touched it before? Okay. If you've never messed with it before, you're going to find today to be a very steep learning curve. I'm going to give you lots of resources for independent study. So brace yourself because the landscape of AI is moving as fast as anything ever has in terms of a disruptive innovation. So with that being said, I'm going to share some slides. I'll also make sure Brian gets a link to my slides. You should be seeing them on the screen right now. That way y'all can have access to them after the fact if you want to click on links and QR codes and dig into the materials. I honestly don't know that we're going to make it through all the material today. This is going to be a little bit more casual. Hey, Brian, if at any point there's like total confusion or technology goes badly, just interrupt me. I can't really see you guys right now while I'm sharing my screen, but I want to make this as tactical and practical as possible related to AI. One of my favorite authors is Seth Godin. He is, in my opinion, one of the most brilliant marketers on planet Earth. I was listening to a podcast he was on a couple months ago, and they were talking about AI, where he made this statement. He said that AI is the biggest change since electricity, even bigger than the internet. And I heard that, I was like, wow, that's a mighty big claim. That's big talk. But then I thought about it and I was like, I think he's absolutely right. The level of speed of innovation of AI is insane, but a lot of people have this reluctance around AI. Is it going to replace me? Is it going to eliminate my role? It's so fast. I'll just wait for the trend to die like it's Bitcoin. And that's not at all what it is. In fact, AI is a multiplier of you. It's a force multiplier of your marketing. Helps you do more, helps you do it faster, helps you do it better. Now, this is just setup today, but something to keep in mind is I did not say that AI makes anything new. I am suggesting that with AI, you can do more, faster, better marketing. And it doesn't work without you sort of pedaling the bike pedals, if you will, making the machine run. My goal is to get through 3 applications today. I sincerely doubt we will. I think we'll probably make it through 2, but let's give it a crack. The first one, if you're taking notes, is the listing lie detector. I believe leveraging generative AI to prepare for listing appointments is going to be the great differentiator between those who are phenomenal with interpreting data and presenting data to sellers and those who are lacking. ChatGPT, OMG, most of you raised your hands and said you're using it. Just really, really quick, give me some context. What are you using ChatGPT for? You can unmute and then remute if you're all right with that. What are you using it for? Go ahead. I'll call on names if I need to.
I just recently used it to help tweak my postcard direct mail campaign for a community I live in and
Nice.
am farming.
Nice. Okay, so working on the language, getting a better call to action. Hey, can I say this tighter, more efficiently, that kind of a thing? What else? How are you using AI or ChatGPT?
Mostly marketing scripts, things like that.
Okay, so is it fair to say that most of you are using AI for working with text, copywriting, things like that? Can I get a head nod? Yes or no head nod?
Yes, that's correct. Mostly text.
Okay.
Jason, I'm using it to just build meeting agendas, discussion questions, thought-provoking things like that.
So ideation, coming up with brainstorms and that kind of a thing, is excellent. Something I want to introduce to y'all is that AI, or ChatGPT in particular, can do a lot more than work with text.
I have uploaded presentations into it too that work pretty good.
100%. You can do documents, spreadsheets, images, videos, PDFs. It can edit, analyze, convert, export, and create. What I'm going to recommend you start doing if you're not already is leveraging MLS data. Now, MLSs across America have different rules and regulations in terms of using their data, but most MLSs will let you download listing data. And half of it's gibberish. It's like, this is horse land or flat land or something like that. But you can feed all that data into ChatGPT and run really thorough analysis and identify observations that are crazy good to prepare yourself for a listing appointment. So the idea or the use case here to be thinking about is, could I prepare for a listing appointment by grabbing all the relevant data, past year, past 2 years, past 3 years of data around that area, and then let ChatGPT help me garner some really powerful insights that if I shared those with sellers, they'd be like, that's an amazing observation, because all you have to do is grab the data, which, by the way, just for kicks and giggles, head nod, yes or no. How many of you are aware of the fact that your MLS lets you download data? Yes or no? How many of you have never done it before? Anybody? How many of you aren't going to head, you're going to be impervious to my questions and not nod your head one way or the other? Matt. He's like, I'm not going to confirm or deny. Okay. Let's jump back in. So however your MLS works, I don't know. I don't live in your marketplace, but most MLSs make it quite simple. You download it to a spreadsheet. It's called a CSV file, or a comma separated value file. And you simply attach it as if you're attaching a file to an email. You attach it to your chat in ChatGPT, and then you can begin to ask it questions related to the data, asking it questions about pricing trends. There's a term I use called market factoids. Factoids, a made-up word. It's where I ask it to give me an insight. I would say to it something to the tune of, hey, look at this MLS data. I am preparing for an upcoming appointment with a seller. The house is 123 Banana Street. It's a 4-bed, 3-bath, acre lot, yada, yada, yada. Listen, I need an insight that if I shared it with the seller, they're going to immediately conclude that I am the most brilliant real estate agent when it comes to knowing the market of anybody in my marketplace. And it's going to wow them into wanting to hire me. I would use language along those lines. If I just said, give me a market insight, it's going to say bigger houses tend to sell for more, because it's going to take the path of least resistance. But if I push it and say, I want a really deep insight, I want a powerful observation, something that nobody else is going to think of, it will try harder based upon your recommendation. It can help you with absorption rates. It can help you run comps. It can do competitor analysis. It can do buyer personas. And the use case I really want to dive into is a sensitive one these days, which is asking the question, have you ever lost a listing over price? And I'm willing to bet you have. You went in, you told the seller the truth. Hey, based upon today's data, the same data we're all looking at, don't shoot the messenger. Your home is likely to sell between X and Y price point. And then, like clockwork, the seller says, well, Joe said that I could get 1.3 for it, probably. And you're like, Joe's lying through his teeth. He's trying to buy your listing. But you can't tell them that, because now it's you against Joe, and Joe appears to be on their side because he's trying to help them figure out how to get more money. But in fact, Joe is bribing them with inflated sales prices just to win the listing. One of my clients, her name is Sandra Pike. She was dealing with that exact issue, and she came to a coaching session and she said, I'm struggling with this because I'm going in and they always say, Joe said he'd do it for 1.3. And then what do I do to compete against that? And so I said, share your screen. And I had her go into her MLS. We downloaded the data from her MLS, and then we ported it in. We attached it to a ChatGPT thread, and I fed it the prompt I'm going to show you. And this changed every future listing appointment she went on. So the prompt, and a prompt is just a fancy word for an instruction. I instructed ChatGPT to analyze my uploaded attached MLS data as follows. I said, using the MLS data, construct a table that accurately compares the performance of listing agents, not buyer's agents, year to date. Then I said the table should include the following columns. Column A, the listing agent's name, and I asked it to be anonymized because I didn't want to violate code of ethics. Column B, listings taken. How many listings did they actually get in this year-to-date span of time? Column C, how many did they actually sell? Column D is listings unsold, that is actives, canceled, or expired listings. Now, notice I haven't told it, hey, just so you know, column A is the MLS number. Column B is the listing agent's name. Column C is the street address. I didn't do any of that because it is a generative AI and it's going to quickly figure that out for itself. So I'm just trusting the fact that it's going to operate from a standpoint of intelligence, and I can just have a conversation with it like it's already caught up to speed. Column D is listings unsold. Column E is the median list to sale price ratio for sold listings. In other words, on average or median, they list homes at $1 million and they sell homes at 800. So they have an 80% list to sale price ratio. And then the next column is G, price reduction data, how many, how much, etc. And then the big one is column H, the statistical probability the agent will cut the price on their next listing. Then I said, use judgment to determine which column corresponds to each required data point in the data set and ensure that the data is drawn exclusively from the MLS data set without fabricating or estimating any figures. I gave this prompt to Sandra. She plugged it in. It worked its AI magic and it came up with the table. She then downloaded the table and printed it off so that now she goes to a listing appointment. And then as expected, she hears, well, Joe said he could get 1.4 million for the property or 850 grand for the property, whatever the number is. And then she reaches in her little bag and she pulls out this document and she puts it on the table. And then she says, then you're going to be shocked by this. And she goes through the report with them. Now, I'm willing to bet most of you are quite good at reading body language when you're on a listing appointment. Is that true? How many of you look at the seller's facial expressions and you read their body language? And you can tell when they're convinced. So Sandra works through the table with them, the data with them. And she knows that moment where they sit back like this. And she knows they're convinced. And then she drops this little last boss mode line. She says, as she starts packing her things up, she says, listen, who you hire to list and sell your property is entirely your decision. One bit of recommendation, though, if I could, that if the listing you choose to hire, the agent you choose to hire lists at that price, and she like points her finger on the price, that 1.4, the ridiculous number. If the agent you choose to hire recommends listing at that price, that you include in your listing contract with them that when they come to you for their very first price reduction, it's grounds for immediate termination of their listing contract. And then she just starts packing up her bag, making to leave, literally waiting for the seller to be like, wait, don't go. We should still talk. Don't leave. Don't leave this soon. And so I followed up with her a few months later after she'd been leveraging this technique. And I said, are you losing listings? And she said, not a one. Like clockwork, it's coming up. And every time this completely disrupts their thinking and they end up listing with her and they get a better price, they sell faster, and they ultimately make more money in the end. Now, I'm looking in the comments. Rochelle says, how did I come up with the prompt? It's so articulate. I had ChatGPT help me write it. Is the simple answer. I started a conversation and I said, I wonder, this is a sidebar and I'm going to run out of time. Does anybody here use ChatGPT's voice mode? Anybody at all? So
I do. Yes. It's great.
Yeah, so watch this for a second. I would have done something like this. I'm going to share my screen again. You should be able to hear this. I might click on advanced voice mode like this. It's going to be Santa Claus because of the time of year. Hang on. Hey, Santa.
Ho, ho, ho! Hello there. It's wonderful to hear from you. How have you been, my friend?
Well, I've been a good little boy. Anyways, I digress. I need your help crafting a prompt. Here's the scenario. I have a listing agent in Halifax, Nova Scotia. She's going on appointments with prospective sellers. She goes through the market data and then suggests their home is worth a certain amount of money. And then invariably, the seller says, hey, Joe, the other listing agent, or some other listing agent said they think they could fetch 1.4 million or some ridiculous number for it, which puts my agent at this deficit. So the idea we have is that we're going to go into the MLS. We're going to download a whole bunch of listing data that's relevant to that area. And then we're going to ask ChatGPT to analyze the data, specifically looking to craft a table that can help us show the seller that we print off the table. That's the use case. We'll print it off. Show the seller that, hey, a lot of agents are all talking full of hot air, and ultimately they're going to reduce the price. And so what I want to know from you first is, what do you think should be the columns in that data set that are going to be really useful? Start with that.
Ho, ho, ho! That sounds like a jolly good plan. To craft a table that will help your agent demonstrate the realistic market value, consider including these columns. 1. Property address to identify each property. 2. Listing price.
Hey, Santa. So a couple of things. I don't want this table to be ridiculous. I'd rather focus not on the properties, but on the listing agents, but I don't want to violate the code of ethics of realtors. Why don't we make the first column the listing agent's name, but anonymize it? What do you think about that?
Oh, that sounds like a wise approach. Anonymizing the agent's names ensures privacy while still highlighting key points.
Yeah, Santa, get on with it.
All right. Here's a streamlined table that focuses on listing agents and market data. Agent ID, an anonymized identifier for each agent. Initial listing price, the price at which properties.
Hey, Santa, I want you to create column A with anonymized listing agents' names, but only use villains and bad guys from movies.
Ho, 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 ho. That's quite a creative twist. Using
All right,
anonymous.
y'all get the gist of it? Now, normally there's a bug in their system. I got to figure it out. It's supposed to actually give me the whole transcription of that conversation. I don't know why. There's like, I think I have a software update. There's a little bug, but normally when I'm making a prompt, I just have a dialogue with ChatGPT until I get it right. And then I say, okay, craft this prompt where I can use it again and again. And then it helps me craft it. Matt, do you have a question?
Sorry, man, I may have missed the disconnect on where's the data where you're dropping the mic on the price reduction specifically?
Where do I get the data from?
No, the data you're putting in front of the seller. So she pulled it out of her bag. She threw it on the table. I missed the connection between where the data clearly says this agent's going to have to reduce the price.
Oh, so you have it output the spreadsheet or the table that they download. I did step over a step where she would say, these are all anonymized listing agent names. She'll highlight her row. This is me, just so you know, my numbers. She'll review her numbers first. And she's like, I can't tell you which one of these is Joe, but I think you'll get the gist of what's happening in the marketplace. Does that make sense? So what she's trying to do and what she is succeeding in doing is creating a lot of doubt that Joe is full of hot air. Does that make sense?
So she's showing original list price compared to sales price for all the other agents.
Yeah, so if you go back to my slides here for a quick second, back into the prompt, let me just go back a little bit. These are the columns. So A, listing agent name. B, how many listings do they take? How many do they sell? How many are unsold still? What's their median list to sale price ratio? What's their median days on market? What's other price reduction data that might be useful? I'll let it decide what that might entail. And then H is what's the statistical probability they're going to cut the price in the next one.
Got it. Okay, cool.
That's
Thanks.
column H is where you create massive uncertainty and doubt. Make sense? So my challenge for everybody is, and we're going to run out of time very fast. How are you using MLS data to prepare for listing appointments and have this kind of, I mean, have you thought through what are the objections I keep getting? And you know what? Let's park for a second. It's a small group. What are the objections you're getting and what ideas are being spurred up from this about I could do data on this. I could prep for that. I'm hearing this from sellers a lot. What's coming up? Don't be shy.
I wouldn't say this is an objection that's held me back, but this time of year, a lot of people typically have I'm going to wait for the holidays to get over.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way you've seen an agent successfully use MLS data to use that argument?
So I think it would depend on what the data reveals. So, I mean, very easily, Matt, that's a good one. Did I share my screen? Very easily, what you could do is grab all the data and say, hey, run some analysis on this. I've got a lot of sellers who are saying they'd rather wait till the holidays are done. Can you find any historical evidence that they're better to sell during the holidays versus after the holidays? And I would just look for seasonality trends so that I could go on an appointment and I could say, actually, you're better off to do it now. And here's why. Or maybe the data is you're not better off to do it now. You should wait. Let the data tell the story. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So where I think ChatGPT or Claude or whatever AI you're using, they all do it roughly the same. Where I think it gets fascinating is analyzing the data and using it to find insights that you can't see. So a generative AI or a large language model like ChatGPT, it's not a calculator. It's not a spreadsheet. It's not the kind of tool you'd use to run calculations. It's the kind of tool you'd use to formulate insights. What it's remarkably good at doing is spotting patterns and then making observations that are beyond what you would see on your own. And so I'm going specifically after those factoids, those little mic drop moments where I say something brilliant or I'm able to share something insightful like that. Are there any other questions on this topic before I move on? Going once, going twice. Okay, I need some input in the comments. We have time for one more strategy. We can either do a video strategy or a blogging strategy. Who wants video? Put it in the chat. Let me see, video or blogging. Which one do you want? Okay, it's going to be video. It's pretty obvious. All right, let me get it teed up and we'll do video. Stand by. All right. I call this little technique quantum videos. Question is, are you posting enough videos? And the answer is probably not. Video is the ultimate marketing medium. It's in a business like real estate where it's a know you, like you, trust you business. I can't think of a marketing channel quite like video to create a sense of, I know you, I like you, I trust you. But the problem is it takes time to come up with videos. It takes time to film videos. It takes time to edit videos. It takes time to post videos. It's a real time suck. Plus, you got to get over yourself and your own ego trip of doing video in the first place. It's a real time suck. I am curious, is anybody using Captions AI? It's a mobile app. Is anybody using it? Let me know in the chat if you are, really fast. I'm looking at the chat. Okay, Andrew is. Anybody else? Just Andrew? Chris is. Okay, a few of you are. Captions AI is best known for those dynamic subtitles. I film a talking head video, and it automatically puts the subtitles or closed captions where it changes colors with the words that I'm saying, and it puts it out in time sequence. You've seen them in Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. It's best known for those captions. However, it has another feature or a couple of features that's really fascinating. It has a built-in teleprompter. And so I can have a script that I want to read, and I can put it on the teleprompter on my phone and read it and film myself doing it. But the problem is when you're reading the script on the phone, you're not making eye contact with the camera. So it looks like you're not looking at the camera. It looks like you're reading something. And so I can see your eyes moving from left to right, and it doesn't look right. But it has another feature called eye contact correction, where with one button, what the AI will do is it will analyze every frame of the video. A video is simply a motion picture. Frame by frame of the video, analyze it, and will figure out, oh, had your eyes been looking at the camera in this frame, they would have been here. And it will literally move the pixels of your eyes around, bearing in mind what your eyes should look like if you're smiling, what your eyes should look like if you're frowning. And it takes all that into account. And with one button in about 60 seconds, it just moves your eyeballs. In fact, I just did a video. Let me show you a couple of examples really quick. This is my client, Lane Stone. You're going to see the before and after really fast on what this can do. Here we go.
Guess who's gearing up for the 2026 FIFA World Cup? Yep, Orange County's making some moves. 3 iconic fields might host teams for.
So he's
prep and
obviously
training. You've got
bad
Jack
eye
Evans
contact. He's
hosting
reading.
Mesa, Great Park in Irvine, and World Cup soccer. Guess who's
Now
gearing up for the 2026 FIFA World Cup? Yep, Orange County's making
Perfect
some
eye contact.
moves. 3 iconic fields might host teams for their prep and training. You've got
So it's instant. So a couple of things to think about. One, man, I can make a ton of videos if I did it that way. I mean, like, go look at my Instagram for a second here. If you go to my Instagram, if it loads and I go to my profile, this video here that I did yesterday is I'm using eye contact correction. I was sitting in my Jeep reading a script. Let's see if you can tell. Can you tell that I'm not making eye contact? It was because it moved my eyes. Does it make sense? You can make a lot of videos, really. You gotta, now, I will tell you, if you're gonna do teleprompters, make sure to smile, because a lot of you, when you're reading, your face becomes void of expression. You want to smile on purpose. That's going to take practice. There's not a smile maker yet that I've seen, but it fixes your eye contact. So a couple of things it solves. One, well, if I was just reading video scripts, that would really streamline my ability to film it one take wonder and just move on to the next one really fast. Then the question becomes, who or what's helping you write your video scripts? And the answer is AI, but how many of you, just by a head nod, can tell when AI wrote it? It sounds like it was written by AI. Anybody? Unlock your game-changing potential to revolutionize and elevate your career. I'm like, who talks like that? AI talks like that. And it sounds absurd, doesn't sound anything like you. However, within ChatGPT, they have a feature called My GPTs. When you're logged into ChatGPT, and I am talking about the Plus membership when you pay $20 a month, if you click on your face in the top right, and then you click on My GPTs, like if I go to my ChatGPT now, if I click on my face in the top right, and I click on My GPTs, it will take me into all of my GPTs. And a GPT, you can think about it like this. If I go to create one, I can configure it, I can name it, I can describe it, and I can give it custom instructions. If you ever find yourself reusing the same prompt over and over and over again, that's probably a code for I could make a custom GPT out of that and build that into the instructions. So it can be just like rinse, lather, repeat, or whatever the expression is, rinse and repeat, etc. What's also fascinating is it has this section called knowledge right here, where I can upload files. And so if I look over here in my slides, I've uploaded on this one, it's called Quick Scripts. And the instructions say, generate engaging, authentic video scripts for Instagram Reels, up to 60 seconds, tailored for real estate agents specializing in residential properties, and you would change it for your marketplace. The scripts should reflect the agent's unique voice, style, tone, and diction as demonstrated in the sample scripts uploaded in the knowledge section of the GPT. That's down here. It's referring to that document. During each chat, the user will blah, blah, blah. Now, this document contains about 100 examples of my writing. And so what I'm telling the GPT to do is analyze this document to write like me. And all of a sudden it does, because it's really good at formulating patterns. That's its superpower. Now, these aren't all my instructions. I included a lot of instructions, which are right here. I talk about how it should write. I talk about how long the script should be. I talk about having an opening hook. I talk about how to structure the content and demonstrate knowledge and subject matter expertise. And I went ahead and already wrote out all the best practices about Instagram Reels so that it writes a script that's going to be ideally formatted to perform algorithmically on Instagram. If you want a copy of these instructions, just scan that code right there. Or wait for the slides to get handed out. I'll send them over to Brian and Nazar, and we'll hand the slides out, and you can just grab that link right there. You can just copy and paste my instructions, and I highlighted the words in purple that you need to modify for yourself because they're location terms that you need to modify. But it's like, man, this absolutely achieves the goal of more, faster, better. AI is a force multiplier of you. It helps you do more. It helps you do it faster. It helps you do it better. It doesn't do it new. It doesn't do it for you. Just scales and multiplies your marketing. I should mention, if anybody's interested, I do have a program called AI Marketing Academy. You can scan that code or go to that link right there. And when the next class becomes available, it's a 4-week virtual intensive where it's 8 sessions over 4 weeks, diving deep into AI. If you want to get up to speed about how you can scale your marketing next year, this is definitely a program to consider. All right, we are about out of time, and I am actually running to another coaching session after this, but I want to say thank you for your time. I hope you got a lot of good insight and value today, and I wish you success and a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and Happy Holidays, and I hope 2025 goes down in the record books as your best year ever. Thanks, everybody. Have a great one.
Thanks, Jason.
See you, Brian. See you, Matt. See you all.
Thanks, everyone.